Hey, welcome back to the channel. Finally figured out how to get kind of okay lighting in my garage. All right, what I want to do is I want to talk about shoes today. I've been watching some videos and of people's footwear and what they're getting. A lot of people are getting the ultras, and that's fine. Like I said, I was a big fan of ultras, but I had to switch because footwear is super important. People talk about base weight and how important base weight is. Super important too. You know, try to be a little bit lighter on your base weight so that's easier on your feet. Well, if your feet are that important to keep that weight off your body, well, your shoes are important. I just see a lot of people just getting what people tell them off of what they're doing, and I do the same thing. It's a review. You're checking them out, but what you have to do is you have to test it. You have to know what's good for your feet. And I knew the ultras weren't good for my feet, so I switched. I'm not just saying this off the top of my head. I own tons and tons and tons of shoes. I mean, I have anything from a mountaineering, ski, cross country, what are these, Alpina, Alaska shoes for mountaineering and skiing backcountry, to approach shoes. I have approach shoes. These are good. These are soles. I mean, great shoes, still have it. I have a good hunting, hiking / boot. These are Keens, I think. Yeah, Keens. Good shoe. Like it. I have had it for years. I've had these things for years. I mean, there's dust on them. I live in the desert now, so I don't wear them as much. There's a regular hiker, Gore-Tex, Solomon. Great shoe. Love this shoe. I have no complaints about it. Only thing I would say is get a little bit bigger size, half size bigger, because they run a little bit smaller. Good shoe. These are discontinued. You can't even get these anymore, but it's a great shoe. I have my ultras right here, the freaking Lone Peaks. Like I said, I liked them, but the couple complaints I have about this shoe is, one, they fall apart easily. That sole just kind of flops off of them, and you blow out the sides. Obviously, I'm not going to keep the ones that are blown out, but when I was wearing them all the time, the sides would blow out, and then the daggone insoles, it's like the thinnest, nothing to it insole. And I get it; it's barefoot type running, zero drop shoe. I had zero issues. These work for a lot of people, but they just stopped working for me. So I went to the Topo, and I got the Gator here on them because I wear them every day, and I've been wearing them for a few months now, and I have fell in love with these shoes. For me, it's not a zero drop shoe, but it's close to a zero drop shoe. It's a 5mm drop. The insole, you don't have to replace the insole. The insole, it's an orthopedic insole, which gives you that support you need. You're not going to be paying extra. These are expensive shoes, so to have that one thing that you don't have to add to them, and they're good. And I've been beating the heck out of these on the rocks where I live, and in a couple of the hikes I've been doing. And as far as I can tell, these things are holding up. It doesn't look like the sides are ready to blow out. Has that big toe box like the ultras do, which I need a big toe box. I've talked about it before. I don't know why they make such skinny shoes. Your feet swell, your socks are bigger for when you do things. They need to make bigger toe boxes for all brands. I mean, that's just my opinion. But these things, these have been my go-to. I've been training in these. They have a rock plate in them, nylon rock plate. Absolutely love it. But like I said, these are Gore-Tex too. A lot of people are like, don't do Gore-Tex because if Gore-Tex lets water out, it don't let it in. Well, take the precaution, and I know it rains a lot and stuff. When you're out in the woods, your feet get wet. It's just is what it is. I've been doing it for years. I don't talk myself up, but I will say I have over 20 years of experience. Mainly my biggest experience is in the cold. I taught cold weather training, prevention. I've got schooling, mountaineering, But I'm not going to get into all that, but I have experience, and the experience I have is your feet are really important. You need to sure your feet are good to go. Things that you see happen is, yeah, sometimes your shoes, they're going to freeze. Not much you can do about that. I mean, it happens. Just mainly, it might not be from water, but it could be from sweat. Things I do to prevent that, if they're not too gunky, I just put them in my sleeping bag with me. At night, I just pop them right in there. I put them in the sack with me. You can put them up high, or you can put them in your foot pouch and stuff, and put them in there. Because these, like I said, it does happen. Because sometimes you don't know they're gonna freeze, and you leave them out. But if you know it's gonna get cold, wipe the shoe down. You have a cloth, bandana, whatever you got. Wipe them down. If not, I mean, you could wrap them in the bandana so you don't get your stuff. I know your sleeping bag is expensive. So especially if you got a down or one of those custom made ones from like Enlightened or something. But it is important. I'd wrap them suckers up and put that right in my sack with me. It just makes total sense, and that goes for all your gear. If you got anything that's maybe a little bit sweaty and stuff, I mean, it's not going to dry completely, but it can dry, especially this quick dry stuff. This stuff here, if this is sweaty, will dry quick. If you just jam it into your sleeping bag while you're sleeping. Does it suck for a little bit? Yeah, but as soon as you warm up, it's going to create enough warmth to dry all your stuff off, your socks, everything. If you're hanging them up, they're going to get crusty. Can you melt that on your stove in the morning? Yeah, you can just put them over your stove a little bit, or if somebody has a fire outside, you could just dry them off quick. But me personally, when I'm on there, I know this gets gunky. You just wrap it in your bandana or towel or whatever you got, and just jam them in there. Will they come out of the towel? They do. Does stuff get dirty? Yeah. But you're going for months at a time. You're camping, you're hiking. Stuff gets muddy. It sucks because you spent good money on it. But you spent that good money to be, to keep yourself comfortable and keep your feet good. But my big thing is, it's fine. I got this version of it because it just seemed the best. I had no idea. I had never heard of this brand. But I'm going to see how they work. They've been working out really well so far. Have not gotten them wet. But like I said, if they get wet, they can freeze. Just jam them in your sleeping pad or your sleeping bag or sleeping quilt or whatever it is. Keep them warm. Keep your shoes. This is probably, your shoes are just as important as your food. Food. They're just as important as water. You need to make sure you do. I just watching somebody and their shoes were bothering them. They walked miles in their Crocs. I tell you what, I could barely any kind of sandal I have trouble walking in just because the toe thing going on. But I couldn't walk miles and miles in some Crocs. So test them out. And when I say test them out, that is not going for a few walks. I'm talking, you got to get miles, at least 100 miles on a pair of shoes. And it's if you planned good enough, you can get over 100 miles. On these, I have over 100 miles on these now. That's why I finally did a review. Well, it's not really a review, but I'm finally confident that these are going to be good. That these are going to last. Now, when you get up in the 300-400 mile, any shoe, it don't matter what it is, it's going to start breaking down because you're putting a lot of miles on it. But 100 miles on a shoe, and I've been rough on these in some crazy terrain. I had a pair of Brooks I was wearing for a minute, and that's when I was in the running and I was road running, and I put some road run shoes on them rocks, and it just eats them alive. My wife even got a pair of these because she's seen how good they were for me. But shoes are important. I beat these up. I got, there was way more tread in this, but I probably have about 200 miles on these, 300 miles on these. And they're holding up pretty good. They're a little small. But these, if you could see, still have a ton of grip on these. These are like dang on brand new. And these are the Ultras, Lone Peak 6. And they just started beating me up. I had to switch. There was no getting past half on the switch. So just remember, you can go off what anybody says reviews, because it gives you an idea, and that's how I picked my shoes. But one thing I do know is you have to test them, because I've done that. I've done reviews and research, and I've gone out and I've had shoes just tear my feet up. So do your research, and if you're packing and you're new to the backpacking, camp shoes, they're important. I'm not bringing camp shoes. They are important. I might bring them. I don't know, but don't carry 2 pairs of shoes in your bag. Get them sent to you or buy them new wherever you're going. But as long as you've tested them out, as long as you know the shoe's going to work. I was watching another thing, and they were watching another video, and they were wearing Ultras, and the Ultras just kept ripping and tearing, and they're gluing them together the whole time, but they were afraid to switch. And I 100% agree totally. Once you have a shoe you know fits you, you want to keep that shoe, because you know it works for you. But they went through, I don't know, 5, 6 pairs of these Ultras because they were afraid to switch, but they just kept tearing and ripping. So it's nice, it's like, maybe have that one pair that you know is really, really good, that you've tested, and I know they're expensive, and maybe a backup pair that you know is good. Like my backup pair will be the Solomons. They discontinued them, but I know Solomon. I wore other Solomons other than this one, and I know they're pretty good. The Keen are pretty good too. They're just a heavy. Everything that they make of them are heavy. Same with like Morales. I have some of them too. I know they're pretty good. It's because they have that wide box. So just have a backup plan. My backup, I'm going to get another pair of these Topos. Probably gonna before I leave, and because I'll have probably well over, before I go, probably 300 miles now, 400 miles maybe on them, 300, just from training. So I'll probably get a new pair of them. But I'm telling you, those are good shoes. In my opinion, like I said, don't take my word for it. Get a pair, and they have all kinds. They don't just have this one. I don't know what series this is. It's a Z. I don't know what it is. It's Topo something. It only comes in this Keller, so you'll be able to find it. It only comes in this. This is the Gore-Tex. It's like GTX or something. And I have no complaints. And I've wore tons and tons and tons of shoes over the years. And my main point. Well, I had a couple main points. Was one, test your shoes. Get probably over 100 miles on them before you decide that this is what you're going to do for something long distance. And two, take care of your feet. They're really important. Your feet on the trail are important. And the reason I'm not using a hiking boot, which I like hiking boots, and that's my go-to is hiking boots. My go-to is not trail runners. I use trail runners to trail run. But the reason I'm doing that is because of the distance. And I want a lighter shoe. Hiking boots are heavy. And if you have done any distance in hiking boots, they start to weigh you down. If it was, they will just say 300 miles. I'd do hiking boots. I wouldn't do the trail runner. They're just more durable. The hiking boot is way more durable than a hiking shoe. And then I wouldn't have to wear, you still might have to do repairs, but I would do a hiking boot for like 300-400 miles. But anything, this is beyond that. This is long distance. So I wanted something a lot lighter. I tried to lighten up as much as I can. I took some of my comforts away that I normally would pack, because I'm good. I can go the distance with a lot of weight. use a different bag, of course, but you know, I wouldn't be using a ultralight bag. Maybe those hyper lights, I've been looking at them, they're getting pretty good reviews. I don't have one, but possibly I might get one for those hikes that I want to put a lot more weight in. Even though I already have bags, but you can't ever have too much hiking gear. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's just all I want to say. Just be careful. Don't carry your fears. Stay tuned too, because I lightened up my bag a lot. Took a lot of stuff out. I have that PCT shakedown hike coming up, and it's got to put it together so it looks halfway decent for you guys. And you know, stay easy and get to getting. Oh, and if you like what you're seeing, like and subscribe. It really helps. I'm not making money off of this, but it just helps keep me motivated. To be honest with you, yeah, like and subscribe.